So hello and welcome back to my channel Psychology with Vidya, and this is the part 2 of Philosophers in Psychology. I've already covered the debates that have been going on, that is your monism versus dualism, inductive reasoning versus deductive reasoning, and rationalism versus empiricism. Today we are going to discuss all the philosophers that psychology exam focuses on. So let's get started. So the first person we are going to talk about is Socrates, and Socrates was a really influential person. What he used to do is that he used to walk randomly on streets and grab a person and start asking questions on topics such as very random topics and like universally acclaimed topics such as God, beauty, intelligence, and everything. Okay, so for say वो चल रहे हैं and he spot a guy on a street, he would grab him and he would be like, "Do you believe in God?" So he would answer that yes, I do. Then he would go on कि आप क्यों believe करते हो? The person might say that I believe because miracles have happened to me. So फिर वो बोलेंगे कि आपको कैसे miracles हुए and why do you believe that God was behind it? It could be something else, right? So मतलब वो ऐसे बहुत questioning करते थे and through that came your Socratic question. Okay, so he gave you the technique of Socratic questioning and Socratic questioning हम therapies में भी use करते हैं. Modern psychology existentialism जो है वो बहुत use करता है इसको. Existentialism, particularly your logotherapy. Write it in the comments who gave logotherapy if you guys know. So Socratic questioning जो है उसमें यही होता है कि you ask your clients the reason why so that they reflect on their actions or their thoughts or whatever reason they have come to your therapy sessions. Okay, then he also gave the concept of morality. Morality for him was like black and white. So he used to say that we people are here to strive for knowledge and जो लोग ignorance में रहते हैं they have no morality. Okay, so for him morality was like या तो you are a good person या फिर you are a bad person. There is no gray area for him. Either you are good or bad. Okay, so it's kind of Kohlberg's pre-conventional or conventional stage of morality. Then comes, he was obviously inductive, he was following inductive reasoning, right? Because he's going to specific people and then making general statements out of it. As you can see, he was like kind of putting his point forward through reasoning and logical thought. So he was rationalist as well. And he was obviously a dualist because he thought that your mind and body are separate. Right? He also gave you the term eudaimonia. Now, where does we use eudaimonia? We use it in your well-being and your happiness. Caroliff, Diner, right? They have studied eudaimonia as well in detail. So eudaimonia is basically your happiness. There are two types of happiness, which is hedonic and eudaimonia. Hedonic happiness is your happiness based on instant pleasure. So like if you're hungry, you'll eat instantly and then you'll feel happy. Okay, so that is what hedonic is. But eudaimonia is like you're striving for virtues. Like if you find someone on a street or at house somewhere in your school, whichever setting, and then you think that person might need help, so you might help them, right? So you're being virtuous here. So caring, virtue, striving for knowledge, striving for your better version is eudaimonia. Okay, long lasting happiness. It's not for instant pleasure or for selfish reasons. And so there is also like one debate, like apart from dualism, rationalism, and inductive deductive. Other thing that we talk about is most philosophers what they used to say is that obviously dualism says mind and body are separate, right? So what they used to say that body body क्या करती है? Body helps you to do whatever you want, right? If you want to eat, you'll grab a plate, your spoons, your forks, your food and everything, right? So it's helping you moving towards the goal, basically. So it's movement, reflexes. If you touch a hot pan, you will instantly remove your hand, right? So that is what your body movement is. Does animal also possess this? Obviously. Animals भी possess करते हैं body. Animals को जब hunt करना होता है, how are they walking? They're walking through their legs, right? They're moving their paws and everything. So animals and humans दोनों के पास body तो है, but mind जो है वो आपका rational being है. So for say, um, let's say even this video you're watching, you must have gone through many resources and then thought, okay, this video is giving me what I want, right? So you're rationally choosing to watch this video. Even with the food, you have your favorite foods, right? So agar kuch samne rakha hoga, like say your favorite food and other, like it's not your favorite but you can eat that as well, but you'll choose your favorite food over the other one, right? You're making a rational choice here, eating healthy food instead of junk food. Now, and junk food tasty it is, but we are rationally choosing to eat healthy food. Why? Because we want to keep ourselves healthy, right? So ये rational choices है. But animals क्या ये सोचते हैं? एनिमल्स रैशनली नहीं सोचते, अभी उनको भूख लग रही है, जो सामने होगा वो हंट करके खा लेंगे, राइट? दे डोंट बिलीव इन रैशनैलिटी अकॉर्डिंग टू दीज पीपल. सो रैशनल माइंड जो है वो सिर्फ ह्यूमंस के पास है, दे आर नॉट attained by animals, and that is what Socrates also believed. ठीक है? So every decision we make, there is a reason behind it, there is some reason behind it, there is some judgment behind it, right? So that is what Socrates also said, that humans is only possessed by human beings. Got it? Then comes your Plato. Now Plato was a student of Socrates, and Socrates never actually wrote anything what he taught. He only said it in words. So Plato, whatever he has done, is basically thoughts of Socrates, and he has written down what Socrates have taught. Okay, and like he has given you theory of forms, cave allegory, and your chariot allegory. So from cave and chariot allegory, most of your questions come. So we're going to discuss that of Plato. Plato was also a dualist because obviously he's a student of whom? Socrates, and Socrates was a dualist. So we'll make a list here only. Let's make a list here. So dualist में हमने क्या क्या पढ़ा है अभी? We have studied first your Socrates. Plato is also dualist, okay, and they are also rationalist and follow your inductive reasoning. Got it? So Plato also believed in innate knowledge, and he said your self-examination of your ideas somewhat feels like we are talking about introspection, right? So that is what you can say that he laid the foundation for psychoanalysis as well as a little bit about structuralism as well, but more influence on psychoanalysis. So we'll understand how he influenced psychoanalysis, but let's understand what Plato said first. So Plato basically ये बोलते थे कि जो सेल्फ एग्जामिनेशन है, जब हम खुद से रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं अपने आइडियाज के बारे में, जो उससे जो हमें नॉलेज मिलती है, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर. ओके, सो innate knowledge again, right? So let's understand his chariot, your cave allegory first. So in cave allegory, what he said was that these people who have wronged someone was chained in a cave. ठीक है, सो ये जो थे ये केव में बंद थे, एंड पीपल यूज टू वॉक एंड दे यूज टू सी शैडोज हियर, एज यू कैन सी यहाँ पे शैडोज है. ठीक है, तो इन्होंने कभी आउटर वर्ल्ड देखा ही नहीं, सो फॉर देम दिस शैडोज इज द रियलिटी. ठीक है, ये इनके लिए रियलिटी है. सो इनके लिए क्या रियलिटी है? ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट, राइट? इनके लिए इन्होंने कभी कलर्स देखे ही नहीं है. इनके लिए यही है कि अच्छा ठीक है, द वर्ल्ड माइट हैव ब्लैक bird or black trees or black whatever they are showing, right? Vase and everything. So इनके लिए यही रियलिटी है. बट फिर एक दिन क्या हुआ कि एक ने एक गार्डनिंग को बोला कि नहीं, तुम जाओ एक बार देख के आओ आउटर वर्ल्ड. ठीक है, तो इनमें से गया, ये लोग गए ऊपर, एंड व्हाट दे सॉ कि व्हाट दे थॉट रियलिटी वाज इज टोटली ऑपोजिट. यहाँ पे तो कलर्स भी हैं, द सन इज देयर, बर्ड्स उड़ रही हैं, देयर इज ग्रीन कलर्स एंड एवरीथिंग. तो ये तो बिल्कुल ही ऑपोजिट हो गया ना. तो इसमें से कुछ लोगों ने एक्सेप्ट कर ली रियलिटी को, पर कुछ लोग नहीं सह पाए, ये रियलिटी ही नहीं सह पाए, एंड उन्होंने कहा क्या कि आप मुझे प्लीज वापस से केव में बंद कर दो, आई वांट टू गो बैक टू द केव. इमेजिन. सो बेसिकली ये चैरिट एलेगरी से यही बताना चाहते थे कि रियलिटी जो हम जानते हैं वो एक्चुअल में रियलिटी नहीं है. वी लिव इन इग्नोरेंस, बट फ्यू ऑफ अस have the capability, have the courage to see the reality. But for those who doesn't, they live, they actually live in ignorance by their own will. So that is what chariot allegory is all about. Sorry, cave allegory is all about. Now we'll go to chariot allegory. So your chariot allegory, what this allegory used to say is that there is a charioteer here जो इन घोड़ों को चला रहा है, right? So आपने देखे होंगे charioteers और ये सब, तो ये like यहाँ पे तो बहुत चलते हैं. But yeah, so basically there is a charioteer जो horses को hold कर रहा है and चला रहा है whichever direction he wants, right? And as you can see there are two horses, one is black and one is white. So ये जो white horse है, this is your spirited soul, okay, the good horse. ये जो black है वो appetitive soul है, immoral है, or you can say the bad horse. And ये जो charioteer है ये rational soul है. ठीक है, somewhat like your ego, super ego, and it जो ये चैरिटियर है ये डायरेक्शन दे रहा है ना कि मुझे कहाँ जाना है, मुझे लेफ्ट जाना है, मुझे राइट जाना है, कहाँ जाना है, एंड ये इन दोनों हॉर्सेस के बीच में काम कर रहा है, रियलिटी प्रिंसिपल, राइट? सो आपका जो चैरिटियर है वो जो है वो है लोकेटेड, वो काम कर रहा है अपने हेड से, राइट? Whereas ये जो आपका स्पिरिटेड सोल है, जो गुड हॉर्स है, वो आपके मॉरल वैल्यूज से चलता है, ठीक है? दिस इज योर मॉर्टल सोल, ये मॉरल वैल्यूज से चलेगा। एंड ये जो आपका ब्लैक हॉर्स है, जो एपिटेटिव हॉर्स है, जिसकी भूख ही नहीं मर रही है, राइट? दिस इज योर इड। सो ऑल योर डिस्ट्रक्शन, योर immorality, everything coming from where? Your black horse. So for example, मान लो एग्जाम है, ठीक है? There is an exam tomorrow, but today there's this birthday party of your best friend. अब बेस्ट फ्रेंड की बर्थडे पार्टी भी छोड़ सकते हैं, बट एग्जाम कल है तो क्या करें? अब यू आर अ रैशनल सोल, योर रैशनल सोल क्या कर रहा है? रैशनल सोल के दोनों की सुननी है। मेरा व्हाइट हॉर्स मुझे कहता है कि देयर इज एन एग्जाम टुमारो, यू शुड स्टडी, आप बैठो पढ़ने के लिए, राइट? यू शुड स्कोर गुड। बट वहीं मेरा ब्लैक हॉर्स कह रहा है कि दिस इज माई फ्रेंड्स बर्थडे पार्टी, आई नीड टू एंजॉय बिफोर माई एग्जाम सो दैट आई कैन परफॉर्म वेल। सो व्हाट वुड रैशनल सोल डू? Rational soul would say कि okay, I cannot leave this party, I have to attend it, so why not attend it for 1 hour, and like I can give 1 hour, I can spare 1 hour from the whole day, right? So you go to your birthday also for 1 hour and you study as well. तो अपने दोनों को डायरेक्शन के साथ लेके चले ना, दैट इज बेसिकली व्हाट योर चैरिटी एलिगरी इज। एंड ये थे हमारे प्लेटो। नाउ वी कम टू योर एरिस्टोटल। So he was also a student of your Plato. So you can see how there is a chain here. Like Socrates, Plato was a student of Socrates, and Aristotle was a student of Plato. But Aristotle was kind of rebellious, and he refuted the teaching of Plato, and he was a monist, and he followed deductive reasoning. But he said that that knowledge is gained through your sensory experiences. So what are we doing here? We are laying down the foundation for empiricism. He's not a father of empiricism, but you can say that he did lay down the foundation for it. Okay, and he mainly the questions comes from Aristotle is again his philosophies as well. So he gave you 4 causes to understand something. What were these 4 causes? Let's draw something first. So this is a fish. Okay, this is a sculpture of fish. Yeah, so let's understand how Aristotle would have understood this. So your first cause is your material cause, which is basically what is this made of. For example, I made this from marble. Okay, so this is your material cause. That is the kind of material this object is made from. Okay, then the second cause that we would look for then after this is your formal cause. So your formal cause is basically the pattern of the object. Here the pattern is the fish, right? So first you understood what this made of, then you understood, okay, what the object in itself is. Then your third cause would be your efficient cause, which is who made this. Okay, so like the sculptor or an artist. Okay, and then now you've understood the sculptor, you've understood what this object is. Last is your final cause, which is the purpose why this was made. Now I made this for you to understand this concept, what 4 causes to understand anything else according to Aristotle. If in real life, this sculptor would have been on a road or in a museum or an exhibition, it was for mere amusement of the people who's watching it, for entertainment, right? So these are the 4 causes to understand anything according to your Aristotle. First is your material cause, what this object is made of. Then your formal cause, which is your what the object in itself is. Then your efficient cause, which is who made it basically. And then your final cause, that what is the purpose behind it. And he also gave you 3 souls or D anima. He talked about your nutritive soul, then your sensitive soul, and then your rational soul. Nutritive soul is basically the energy that keeps you alive, right? Your food and everything. So plants have that. Plants are alive, right? Your animals also have that. And human beings also obviously have that. Sensitive soul is basically your body movement. Can plants move? No. But can animals and humans? Of course they can. And your rational soul is basically your ability to think rationally, right? Make abstract decisions, analyze abstract concepts, and make rational decisions. Your thinking ability and everything. So, do animals have thinking ability like we think humans have? They don't, right? So, rational soul is only with humans. So, this is what Aristotle was all about. I hope you understood Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. And now we move towards your Franz Brentano. Before Franz Brentano, let's understand René Descartes. So your René Descartes is your father of modern philosophy, and he was again a rationalist and a dualist. And he gave you the famous saying of "Cogito ergo sum." I think, therefore I am. What he used to believe is that your mind controls your body. So obviously, mind is superior, right? Since it's controlling. So mind is superior, and body is just a machine. Like how we play games, or how we have you ever had that toy cars who used to move through remote controls, right? So वो remote control तो हमारे हाथ में था ना, and car automatically moves whichever direction we used to switch it to, right? So that is what René Descartes also said, that your mind is superior and mind is what controlling your body, and your body is simply a machine. Now your body, your movement, your reflexes, वो आपके animal reflexes से उन्होंने compare करे थे, ठीक है? And so चलो इसको भी एक एग्जांपल समझते हैं. Let's take the example of the previous video only so that it's easy to relate. Um, yeah, I gave for this stress, right? CUET PG exams are approaching. So CUET PG exams are approaching, and you might be having thoughts like, I might fail. What if I not do good? What if I am not able to get into my dream college? What is all this? Your mind, right? And you are thinking negative thoughts through your mind, which is basically making you sweat. Your cortisol levels must be high, sleepless nights, high BP, and all of that, right? These are all what? These are all your bodily responses. So your mind and your body is interacting with each other, and the point at which they interact is your conorium. In modern biology, this is your pineal gland. Okay, so he said your mind and body interacts in conorium, and that the signal that helps send message is your animal spirit. ये mind से body तक message कैसे जा रहा है? ये जा रहा है animal spirit के through. ठीक है? Modern day language में cerebrospinal fluid. So this was basically what René Descartes is. René Descartes ने हमें दिया है interactionism. Interactionism में he basically said that your mind and body interact. Although body, if you only talk about body, those are basically machine which is only possessed by your animals. But when we talk about mind and body interaction, that is what human beings possess. Okay. So this is all about your René Descartes. And now let's go to your Franz Brentano. Let's update our list of dualists and monists as well. So the third person we studied here was Descartes, right? And in monist, we studied Aristotle. Now let's come to your Franz Brentano. Now, Franz Brentano was also your rationalist, and he basically gave the concept of intentionality, which is basically awareness of your experience. In simple language, it is basically your consciousness, right? So, intentionality, that you're aware of your own experiences. He also helped in development of phenomenology. What is phenomenology? It is basically a qualitative method of lived experiences. Okay, and it is developed by your Edmund Husserl. So phenomenology is basically, as I said, it is experiences of your lived experiences, right? It is basically research of your lived experiences. So for example, Bhopal tragic incident, right? So that tragic gas that was released, because of which there was like major disasters there, right? So I'm not going there for their whole life story, but I want to know what experiences they had because of those tragic events. So I'm researching about their lived experiences, and if I want to explore anyone's lived experience, in that case, I would do phenomenology. So let's come to Franz Brentano again. So he gave you intentionality, which is your awareness of your own experiences, which is basically your consciousness. So intentionality के दो parts है. First is your perception and second is your physical object. So perception जो होता है वो आपका होता है mental object. So for example, perception love. Can you touch love? You cannot, but you can experience it, right? Such as beauty as well. Beauty, love, ये सब physical construct नहीं है, but you can experience all of this, right? So these are mental objects. You can only experience this one at a time also, according to him. And there are three components of perception. First is the presentation, which is the image of the object. Okay, if not love and beauty, which are simply construct, we can also think about like objects, a flower. You're sitting in your room, you do not have a flower, but you can imagine it, right? Imagine तो कर ही सकते हैं ना हम. So you imagine this object, okay? This is your presentation. Then you determine the quality of it. So for example, you imagine the flower rose. If you like it, good. You determine the quality. कि okay, rose में कौन सा है, white है, black है, कौन सा है, ठीक है? Then the phenomena of love and hate. Attitude towards the object. Do you love your rose or do you don't love your rose? सिंपल अगर मैं बोलूँ, सो मम्मी के साथ अगर आप कभी शॉपिंग करने गए हैं अपने मॉम डैड के साथ, सो यू सी हाउ मॉम बार्गेन्स. फर्स्ट दे लुक एट द क्लोथ, राइट? कि चलो एक एग्जांपल, रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल ही ले लेते हैं. पिंटरेस्ट से हमने ड्रेसेस देखी. नाउ इज इट देयर इन माय हैंड? It is not. I'm just imagining myself कि oh, I might look good in this dress, right? So presentation, imagination. Then मैं क्या क्वालिटी जज करूंगी उसकी कि मुझे कॉटन में चाहिए, वेलवेट में चाहिए, अदर मटेरियल्स whatever there are in this world, synthetic and I don't know what else. ठीक है, सो हमने डिटरमाइन कर ली उसकी क्वालिटी. नाउ अब हम क्या करते हैं, हम जाते हैं शॉपिंग पे, ठीक है? एंड वी टुक आवर मॉम बिकॉज मॉम इज गुड इन बार्गेनिंग. सो वी टुक आवर मॉम विद अस एंड अब मम्मा क्या करेंगे हमारे साथ कि नहीं, ये तो महंगा है, आप इसको थोड़ा सस्ता करो, राइट? सो द फिनोमिना ऑफ लव एंड हेट कि अच्छा ठीक है, अच्छा इस प्राइस पे है तो आई विल टेक इट. यू लव दैट अगेन. सो हाउ मच आई गॉट दिस फॉर? सो you might flex it later as well. So, but if you think, oh, I've paid much extra for it, it's not that worth, then if not hate, you might do feel a little guilt, right? So, phenomena of love and hate. So, this is what perception is. This is mental object which can only be experienced but not perceived. Okay, so there is presentation, there is judgment, there is phenomena of love and hate. But whereas physical objects, which you can experience, obviously, if you have a pen with you, you can touch it, you can experience it, you can also perceive it, right? And you can do experience or perceive multiple stimulus at a time according to him. So this is what Franz Brentano was all about. He gave you intentionality. Interactionism was given you by your René Descartes, and now we'll go to Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon was your father of empiricism, and he was inspired by your Aristotle, monist. As I said, that Aristotle laid the foundation. Who is the father? He is the father, Francis Bacon. Just like structuralism, Wundt might have laid the foundation, but father of structuralism is Techno. Okay, so Aristotle laid the foundation, but the father of empiricism is Francis Bacon. So he believed that he was a materialist, like we studied in material monism, that physical world is the primary reality. We should study whatever we can observe. And he also gave us the scientific method. So MCQs could be from here or who is the father of empiricism, basically. So he said you first observe, like we do in your literature review, right? So we first observe things, and then on the basis of that, I'll make a hypothesis. And then I'll do experiment to test it out whether I can accept or reject my hypothesis. If I accept it, then great. If I don't, then what else can we do, right? And then we verify it. That is what basically Francis Bacon did. He gave us the scientific method that you first observe, then make hypothesis, then do experiment, and then verify it. No, that is analyze in our term. Right? So verification. Francis Bacon. Then comes your इमानुअल कांट, एंड इमानुअल कांट, लाइक एज यू कैन सी बिफोर इमानुअल कांट हम बस ये डिबेट कर रहे हैं ना कि कौन एम्पेरिसिस्ट है, कौन रैशनलिस्ट है. सो इमानुअल कांट बेसिकली बिल्ड अ ब्रिज बिटवीन दिस. ही सेड दैट you cannot solely apply any one method to understand a phenomenon. Okay, so he gave a priori and a posteriori. So if a question asks you whether Immanuel Kant was a rationalist or empiricist, he supported both the methodologies, both these schools. So you cannot put him in either of these schools. You have to say that he supported both these schools. Okay, so your a priori is basically your rationalism, which is your innate knowledge, the knowledge which is coming from you within, right? So these are universal examples. For example, whether you are alive, you can only debate about it. Even if you say that you can check my pulses, if my pulses are working, then I'm alive. I'm not a, what can I say, I'm not a ghost or something, right? But have you seen these controversies that we are living in a matrix? So there will always be someone who can refute you, whether you are alive or not. So these are only things that you can debate about. You cannot actually prove it. Whereas a posteriori is your empiricism, the things that you can prove. So for example, you're just studying psychology, you are proving the concepts, right? So they follow empiricism school. And what else? Earth is round. Now I know there are debates that earth is flat or earth is round, but like you know, the flat earthers did an experiment, and उनके experiments से उन्होंने खुद ही को prove कर दिया कि earth is round. So like earth is round, you have evidences about it. If you are not like, if you can't believe it, that it's on you, but there are evidences around you. Go अब तो आप space में भी जा सकते हो, see the shape yourself, right? So that is what Immanuel Kant said कि कोई भी phenomena हम सिर्फ एक चीज से नहीं देख सकते हैं. You can not solely rely on either of these methodologies, rather build a bridge between it. And why not inculcate both the methodologies of rationalism and empiricism? So a priori and a posteriori. Then आते हैं आपके William Dilthey. So William Dilthey gave you the method of hermeneutics. Okay, so what he said that your natural sciences and your human sciences are not the same. What natural sciences focus on is your causal laws. So for example, again let's take the example of stress. So the causal law would be that your cortisol level is increasing. Okay? There is high blood pressure, there is high heart rate and everything. So these are the causal causes of stress that you can observe. But human sciences cannot solely rely on your natural sciences, which is your causal laws. It has to be descriptive and analytical as well. So for example, for him, why is he feeling this? Why? What is the reason behind it? So for example, he has a fear of disappointing his parents. Right? Or he has a fear that his future might derail, right? Going downwards. So for him, why is he feeling stress? So your natural sciences can give you the answers of what, but to understand the why, you have to use hermeneutics to understand the descriptive and analytical psychology behind it. Okay, so he gave you the hermeneutics, which is basically he's saying that if you want to understand human science, then you have to use the method of description and analytical. And if you want to understand the cause behind it, then you can go for natural sciences as well, which is the causal laws. That is what he gave. And Manuka and Francis Bacon. So we haven't discussed John Locke yet, so let's discuss that. I think I forgot to add his name, but let's discuss him. So John Locke was the person who gave you Tabula Rasa, which basically means blank slate. So he rejected the idea of innate knowledge. What he said that he's doing, he's focusing on empiricism school, right? So he said that you are a blank canvas. You're born with a blank canvas, and as you live, as you gain experiences, that is what your knowledge is. And it is giving the rise of which debate? Nature versus nurture. So he's saying that your environment is what is shaping you. Right? That is what he said. So This was what John Locke said, and let's discuss one more. Although, like it's extra information, it might come in your net JRF, but you should know if they give you, they might, because since history of psychology is your unit as well. So there was also one person, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and he gave you the concept of pedocentrism. Now I know it sounds a little off, but actually it doesn't mean what you are thinking. Pedocentrism, basically what he meant was that student-centric approach. So what used to happen? So like if you have seen Crown, and there's one more show on Netflix, I guess. There is one more show, I'm forgetting the name, but I hope you get the idea of what era I'm talking about. The ballrooms, and there is kings and queen, emperor and empresses. So I'm talking about that era. So what these white people used to do was that they used to have sessions for beating their children up for not following the rules of the household. If you have seen Enola Holmes, even there is a bit about how Enola Holmes goes to a school for learning how to laugh and everything. So imagine they even have to learn how to laugh in a public setting. So basically what they used to do is that if they used to have a beating session, that okay, you didn't follow this, so you'll be getting beating for this. So John Jack Rousseau came and he said ki, you're nurture, you're beating them, and you're basically what you are doing is that you have to understand their level, their innate knowledge, basically, that how much IQ they have, right? According to that, you'll make your syllabus, right? So, for example, if you are in first class and you're making him teach the syllabus of a third class student, obviously he won't be able to perform. So, what he said, he focused on your nature, student centric approach. Right? So your learning syllabus, whatever basically you're learning or developing your skill or something, that should be centered around the student, not the other way. So paleocentrism was basically this only, focusing on your nature, your inherent knowledge, your heredity. Okay, and that is how nature versus nurture debate came into being. They might ask you, give paleocentrism, what is paleocentrism? So you should know it. So this was a wrap up of your philosophers as well. So we have done the topic. So I told you before that there are four topics: goals of psychology. Goals of psychology we've done. Philosophers we have done. Sorry, goals of psychology we haven't. We have done your definition of psychology and your philosophers. In the next, we'll cover the goals of psychology, and then we'll cover your school of psychology as well. And with this, your unit 1 would be completed in your crash course. So in the next video, we'll be discussing your goals of psychology. In the comment section, I'm going to pin a form for you of your philosophers or psychology questions. So do attempt that. And if you have any questions, then tell me in the comments. I'll address it in the next video. Okay. So like, share, subscribe, and that's it from my side for today. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.